You good? Hey, Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahushua.
Barakatah Yahushua.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahushua.
Barakatah Yahushua.
A double honor to the apostle, the elders, and salutations to you sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity. This lesson is going to be entitled, Athletes Are Modern Day Slaves.
(1841), New Orleans, ground zero for the slave trade. It's auction day, the day every slave fears the most. In the first half of the 19th century, over 500,000 slaves are sold at auction. It's a business worth $2 billion to the Southern economy. Since the cotton boom, the value of slaves has skyrocketed. Now men cost $1,000, women $800, children $500. Solomon Northrop, an educated free man from the North, was kidnapped into slavery.
He would make us hold up our heads, walk us briskly back and forth, while customers would feel our hands and arms and bodies. Make us open up our mouths and show our teeth, precisely as a jockey examines a horse which he is about to barter for or purchase. Scars upon a slave's back were considered evidence of a rebellious or unruly spirit and hurt a sale.
90% of all African Americans are slaves. 4 million men, women, and children.
We had based this country on everyone having inalienable rights to freedom and equality, and yet we created a system of abject persecution.
All right, so you see, nothing has changed, man. It's the same thing that's going on right now. It's just at this time frame, Esau has gave Jake a pocketbook, okay? And with that pocketbook, Jake can do more things than the average slaves can do, but they're still in slavery, man, okay? Because if you think about it, with Jake, they receive a black card as well. And they can only use that black card, for certain things. And they have to give account for what they're spending their expenditures on, man. So they're still slaves as well, man. Just because they have the big house, all the cars and the picket fences and things of that nature, man, hey, they're not living no better than us, man.
And that's a low-level way of thinking, too. And because the Most High created Israel to be kings and priests in a nation holy unto himself. Right. But you got our people whose mind is so wrapped around athleticism, running track, doing boxing, doing basketball, playing football, playing baseball. Oh, yo, he's gonna be the greatest. They start him up at 2 years old, 3 years old, trying to mold them into this $1 million ticket, this lottery ticket for themselves, man. And that's a low-level way of thinking, because all these sports were created by the so-called white man. The first teams were played by so-called white men. And yes, Jacob is the salt of the earth, and ultimately ended up dominating those particular sports. But to have that mind frame of oh yeah, he's gonna get drafted. He's gonna get drafted. That's nothing but you being chosen by a so-called white man for being a good old boy, man. He's big. He's strong. Go ahead.
In Jeremiah 2:14, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave?
That's right.
Why is he spoiled?
That's right. And you're spoiled people, man. And the world looks at you as you even have an aura of yourself as a homeborn slave, man. All you do is lay down and take whatever's given to you in this world, And because when a so-called black man is shot, you say something, you scream, you holler, you protest, you hold a sign, Black Lives Matter, different things of that nature. Then you go sit down somewhere, man. If it was up to any other nation that suffered these same atrocities that we have, there'd be a lot of bloodshed in the world, man.
That's right.
Hey, but the Lord is preserving this time and this moment, because there are going to be race wars that are going to come, man. And all you so-called athletes, hey, to hold on to those riches that you have, you're going to have to take this 666 mark of the beast microchip, man. All right.
Hey, the Hebrew word for spoil is baz. It says spoil, booty, robbery, spoiling. It says use of persons and cattle carried away in war.
Right, and you're that cattle that was taken away in war, man.
Spoils.
You're the spoils, man.
God.
He said also a wealth taken from the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 3. It says, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink.
Right, and if you present this scripture like according to present time, it's the same thing that's going on in the NFL, in the Major Baseball League, and also the NBA, man. Okay, because basically now the platform is basically you're getting selected on basically what team you're gonna, you've been selected to play for, man. It's the same thing, man. Now it's just basically modernized, and it has a lot of glamour and esteem, like you're doing something big, but you're not, man. You're just modern day slaves, man.
Still got to answer the master.
Yeah. Yep. You still have owners. You still have GMs. You still have these people that are over you, and you're still held by particular what you call barriers, disciplines, or guidelines, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, you have financial advisors too, so they tell you how to spend your money. And most of the financial advisors, I want to say, like they said, 90 to 95% are eating money.
Exactly.
And it's no different like when the elder just played the first clip. You know how they was looking in Jake's mouth, looking in Jake's ears, and measuring them up. It's the same thing now. They see how jump you can have. They see how fast you can run. They see how much you can bench press. They see how much you can squat. It's the same thing in those camps, man. It's the same thing, man. You're actually performing for the enemy, man.
And there's nothing wrong with being talented. There's nothing wrong with your particular occupation. It's just that mental state that you're in. That's what you have to come outside of. Right. Hey, because we're all modern day slaves. But when it comes to these so-called celebrities and these so-called professional athletes, they put themselves at a higher tier above their fellow brethren.
Right.
And by their fellow brethren, we mean another so-called Negro, another so-called Latino, another so-called Native American Indian, because now you feel that you've made it. The so-called North American Indians, there were quite a few of them who wanted to look like a so-called white man, live like a so-called white man, but that was after the fact that they had already been conquered here on this land. When you go to that old show from the 60s, no, not from the 30s and 40s, whatever time frame there was Bambuza or something to that nature. The so-called native, it was a Native American Indian character whose wife took on the customs of Christianity. Okay, and he wanted to transfer his household from a so-called teepee or living on the land to live like a so-called white man.
Hey, precept brother, this is from the brother Ayash, Isaiah 5:13. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
Exactly, and you got to come out of that mental slavery first to realize that you're in the physical part of it. Who cares about the houses in the hills in Beverly or in LA or whatever state or location? Nobody cares about the island that you bought. All that stuff is all fine and dandy, but you need to understand who you are. You need to understand the predicament that the Most High put his people in ultimately.
That's right, bro.
Now, in the scriptures, what you have already and not knowing the truth is called a consolation. And it said that you've already received it. Okay, so that's a scary thing to think about as well, because those people that have not, instead of strive to do the best that they can, and you don't want to have everything and a lot of, what do you call it when somebody has a lot of when people listen to them or they'll follow them.
Like popularity or something like that.
Yeah, notoriety. Hey, because you can say a word and change the whole world, man.
That's scriptural too.
The rich man listen. And then just also expound on what the brother just presented too, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Basically what's the thirst? Living water, man. Because see, y'all have carnal riches, man. And at the same time, it's a balance. And Yahweh Shem Shai has gave us the spiritual riches, man.
God.
All right.
We'll play the other clip.
Go ahead, bro.
This is for Michael Wilbon. Pay attention, Michael. I'm going to try to explain why this happened, okay? You had Jimmy Butler as a part of your team. He's now gone. All right, but look, it's never easy when you start over. You got to trade your best asset. So they trade Levine. Forget about how he fits with Rondo and all that. The next move is Rondo gets bought out. He can get rid of $10 million of his money, and he's gone. You get a young replacement. I did 1, 2, 30, 35, 35. Dwayne Wade now likely is a buyout candidate. They're going to give him most of this money, let him go somewhere else because they're starting over. They have cap room, $29 million in space. I'll take Lopez out of there and put in the cap room. This is the new look of the Bulls.
A brand new book comparing rich black athletes to slaves has gotten people talking all over the country. There was a time when 40 acres and a mule was the price black slaves sought as restitution for their forced servitude at the hands of white masters. But today, for the superior black athletes, that payment has swelled into millions of dollars. Although the money comes without the important commodity, power, and the black slave white owner mentality has remained intact. That is the argument at the core of William T. Rhodes' critically acclaimed new book, $40 Million Slave.
We got Antonio Brown. Do I hear $20? We got Antonio Brown. Do I hear $20? $20, look at the board, look at the 1, 2, 22, look at the 3, 3, look at the 4, look at the 5, 6, 7, 8, $30, bid 1, 2, 33, look at the 4, look at the 5, 35, look at the 6, 7, 8, 38, look at the 9, $40, bid 1, $41, bid 2, 3, 4, 5, $45. We all learn all done. Sold $44 as a man up front, the crazy man, wild man.
Auction draft for fun.
Next on the auction block, we got Odell Beckham Jr. Buying $15, 15, they're going to get 15, 16, 17, they're going to get $18, now 19, going to be 20, 21, going to 2, 3, $24, bid 5, 6, 7, 27, 28, you're going to bid 9, going to be $30, bid 1, 31, they're going to bid $31, 1, they're going to buy $30, bid 1, 2, 2, 3, 34, 34, y'all learn all done. Hey, 34 to shiny top, $34.
Bro, go back to Joel 3.
Joel chapter 3, verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink.
And that's what happened when we first came into this country, man. All right, but now look how Esau has modified it, man. Basically, he has taken to like the sports avenue, the sports industry, man. It's the same shit, man. Hey, bro, one more thing. Get Ecclesiastes, the next scripture.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
It says, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done,
mm-hmm.
and there is no new thing under the sun.
So this is no new thing under the sun, man. It's the same spirits coming back in the process of the format of reincarnation doing the same thing, man. Esau now has just made it a way to make it seem like it's cool, you know, to make it seem like, okay, these guys actually has made it. And just like the brother Yah said, I'm gonna go back to his comment. He stated that they're nothing but actually they just slaves that with luxury slave quarters, man. The big houses and so on and so forth, man. But you're spiritually, you're dead, man.
God. Hey, because who's that guy? The Donald Sterling. He was the owner of the LA Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
And when his little girlfriend was talking to him about it, she's like, do you not realize all of your players are black? He's like, of course I realize it. I feed them, I clothe them, I give them nice houses and nice cars. I take care of them, just like a true slave master would. When you go back to the movies like Django, Roots, the slave owners always had their favorites. Goodbye, Uncle Tom. They always had the select group of guys that they gave so-called dainties to, or privileges. But they were still slaves. They still couldn't get out of line. They still had to drop their heads.
This is 1001, Jeremiah 2:33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways.
You trim your ways by leaving your identity as an Israelite. You want to cleave on to the other nations. So that's why we in the predicament we are in today as Gentiles. You know what I'm saying? You want to cleave in into Esau's system instead of the Shai's system.
That's right.
It's coming to your true power is, you know.
And thou also taught the wicked one thy ways, meaning that now Jake is more wicked than the wicked, man.
Right.
They're actually learning things from you.
Yeah.
You know, prime example, man. Like, look how far Jake pushes the envelope with homosexuality and being lesbians, man. You overly do it, man.
Yeah.
You have to broadcast it and make it seem like it's okay. And you see motherfuckers offended, but you still have to push that envelope to just put that vibration out there, man.
Because they have designers, they have fashionists. You know, so since when did it grow? You know, so you didn't have that before. You know, so before that time period.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got people lining your clothes out and picking your clothes out for you, and it's the most feminist thing to put upon a man.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that need not to be worn. No man should be walking around with capris on, man. You know, and what was that? Yonkers.
Oh yeah, romper.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Jeremiah 5:28. They are wax and fat. They shine. Yeah, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. They judge not the cause of the fathers, yet they prosper in the right of the needy to do. They not judge. The part was they overpass the deeds of the wicked.
Mm-hmm.
So the 12 tribes of Israel, they are more wicked than the actual Edomites now.
Yeah.
You know, if you gonna have Edomite, we already know through the spirit he's a faggot. But our people now, they are flaming faggot now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they like to surpass. You know, they surpass the wicked now with they wicked doings.
And this is the brother Yabataza. Salaki, if I pronounce your name wrong, bro. And when Yahushua saw that he was very sorrowful, he said, so Salaki, this is Luke 18:24. And when Yahushua saw that he was very sorrowful, he said, how hardly shall they that have riches enter into the kingdom of the Most High? Yeah, the shit you done to get those riches, man. You extremely defiled yourself, and then not to mention you don't even want to let the riches go, man, in order to come back to Yahweh.
Imagine that parable when Yahweh told the poor man to leave what you had.
He couldn't do it.
He couldn't do it.
He didn't want to give it up. And then you look at these people; they're all covered with tattoos. And why is it? Are you a low level nigga? If you got over $1 million in your bank account, you got Newport in your mouth, man. Like, bro, there's something wrong with you. You got tattoos all over their bodies. They indulge in the most extreme sexual acts. You know.
Hey, this is the brother Yabataza again. It states, and when this is Sirach 10:2, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man that Salakia, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
And that's what we got today.
It's America.
Exactly, because the ways and the actions of the so-called king that trickles down onto the people of that nation. So you got Barack Obama, all the presidents above him, initiating, pushing that homosexual agenda. So now it's okay. So now it's accepted amongst the people. Nobody stands up for anything. Nobody stands up for so-called right and so-called wrong. Neither can they differentiate between the two. The only people that are doing it, during the time of Sodom and Gomorrah and these surrounding cities, there was only one particular individual that was going out and prophesying against all of that madness, man. You know, so they were all under one accord, and they're under the same one accord to this day. Because to make it a so-called hate crime to be against homosexuality, such as the king, you know what I'm saying, as well as the people, the people shall be.
That's right. That's right. And you can tell that Esau runs this entire world, because now in that time where not only America is under that format, but the entire world is under that format.
Yeah, you got to be politically correct now. You can't say the word faggot. Bro, who made that rule?
Esau made that bundle of sticks.
Right. Meant to be burned.
Right.
All right. And it's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 44, says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Right. Now, if you convert this scripture to like slavery at the same time frame, who's the head in the sports industry? It's the Edomites, man. You know, they run they own all the teams, and Jake is nothing but, they are nothing but athletes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan don't own shit. He may have like a small percentage. If anything, he's the face of that. But Esau is behind that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? They'll never put Jake in a position where they can own something such as that magnitude, man.
Right. And that's what it's all about. And that's why we were saying, you know, so they have that mentality of working in sports is your only means and only way to actually excel in life, man. It's like, bro, that's just horrible, man. They're just so mentally low. That's why you do anything for it. They get rich or die trying. Money on my mind, money everything ordeal, man.
By all means.
By all means, by any means necessary. All that dumb stuff, man. All the dumb stuff is gonna have you destroyed out here and looking stupid, man. Because as soon as World War III kick off, as soon as these concentration camps, hey, turn the power on, a few bills ain't gonna do it.
Right.
Making it rain up in the club right now is not gonna save you from these calamities that are gonna come.
Economic collapse coming too. So we gonna do all them Federal Reserve notes.
Yep,
You know,
yep.
think about that.
You know, hey, because so-called college, so-called high school, they teach you how to go and be a productive citizen in the world. They're not teaching you how to buy this business, create this business, start that business, own this. That's why the majority of the world and businesses are owned by so-called white people. That's why the majority of the teams in the NBA, the NFL, and the soccer league, the major baseball league are owned by whom? So-called white people. That's why the music industry in its entirety is owned by whom? So-called white people, man.
Jewish, man. Fake ass Jews.
Exactly.
Man.
You know, and that wasn't by design. They didn't stumble upon it.
Yeah.
That's systematically put in place. That's why all the singers and the rappers are whom? Jake, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. All the great actors, you know what I'm saying? You got a bunch of white faces.
Yeah.
But the black actors, what were they doing last year or 2 years ago? The Grammys are racist. The Grammys are discriminating. Like, bro, you 30, 40, 50, 60 years old talking about standing up for something now. Because you didn't get an award or all the candidates were so-called white people. I mean, you know, just because you thought you lived next to one that all of a sudden it was an equal playing field, they don't like you. They never will like you.
And brother Ashiyar stated that NFL $300 billion industry, Esau fucking over Jake, $300 billion annually.
Oh man, hey bro, that's a lot of money, man.
Right. But your but the NFL players, they don't even get money like that compared to like the baseball players.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Compared to like the basketball
soccer
players and the soccer players, man. I mean, you take the hardest hits, man, and you fuck around, and basically, man, you can't even feed yourself by the time you're 48 years old, man.
You get them shakes
and shit, Parkinson's. Why do you think so many, man, it was so many football players, like, within the past couple of years retiring, man, after a couple of seasons of football, man. The shit ain't adding up anymore, man.
That's right. You know, and even up in boxing, even in MMA with oh man, what's the guy's name?
Bone Jones?
Nah, the CEO.
Dana White?
Yeah, Dana White. You know, you got an individual like that. Basically, you know what I'm saying? Basically, he has this select group of guys. He sets up the fights for them.
Right.
And who were doing that? That was in Django Unchained, right? When we had those two Jakes fighting against each other, he set them up. It was one slave owner picked his best boy, and another slave owner picked his best boy, and they bet on who was going to win. Right. And they fought unto the death. Right now, you got a referee that comes in and stop it, or you got your corner that can throw in the towel for you. But it's the same thing, man. The same exact thing. And guess who started the so-called MMA? So-called white people.
That's right.
All right. Yeah. But guess who's dominated now? The Israelites. Just as everything. Yeah. Just as golf. Just as rugby. Just as hockey. Just as basketball. Just as baseball. Okay.
Hey, bro, and if I can just add to what you're saying, hey, Bruce Lee was the first one to come up with that concept, man. If you actually watch the movie Enter the Dragon, he was doing moves back then, man, back in around the 1970s, man. So that concept actually came from Jake, man. Esau just made profit off of it, like he always do everything else we create.
Oh yeah, he know how to come in there now. He come in there like the eagle that he represents and swoop down on you, taking all the goodies, and then promising you a better life because you've always been on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So To you, it's heaven sent. Oh, this was God's doing. No, it was the devil utilizing you for a bigger purpose, man. You know, like we were saying, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. Hey, a lot of us brothers that preach this word of Yahweh Bashem and Yahweh Shai are talented. We're there where you are now. You know, some different things of that nature. So it's nothing knocking particularly what you do per se, but it's just coming out of that mental mind frame, man. Hey, because y'all got a tendency to shit on everything around you. After that, you know, especially rap niggas, you nasty, grimy, yuck mouth ass niggas, man. You know, you niggas that get beat up, like just old fashioned beat up, like 1992 style.
I got you right, bro.
Go ahead.
Isaiah 52 verse 2, shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion.
Well, and what's the dust, man? It's confusion, man. And what's the confusion? This actually ideology to participate in the image of the beast, man. This American society, which goes back to the Roman Empire, man. And what are the fucking bonds at this time frame? These contracts, man. And we're all subject, you know, with the birth certificate, the driver license, the social security card, and then you have athletes that have these actual contracts, man. Okay, for 5 or 6 seasons, you know, if you score this many touchdowns, or if you appear in this many championships, you're gonna get more money, so on and so forth, man.
And you and they tell you, we don't want to see you on a boat. We want to catch you riding a motorcycle. We want to see you climbing a mountain with your girlfriend. All right. We don't want to see you at the park playing with your kids.
That's right.
Because as soon as we see that your contract is null and void, man, that is a slave. Why? Because he's trying to keep his boy good and healthy and strong. Because he's banking on you to bring him a potential championship. You along with the other hand-picked niggas, man.
And also the water Akim for actually the participation on the comment board.
Kind of the water Akim.
Yeah, try to get as many precepts as we can.
Yeah.
This verse 3 back Isaiah 52. So for thus say Yahweh Bashem Shai, ye have sold yourselves for naught, and ye should be redeemed without money.
Right.
So Yahweh Shai, he's gonna be our redeemer. He's gonna buy us back, man. By us, our people trying to sell out into the system, make it. That's not gonna bail you out, man. You still gotta go under Jacob's trouble.
This is the brother Ashiyar, Sirach 11:25. In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction, and in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity.
That's it.
And you niggas are so imbalanced like that, because you niggas like Jay-Z, Puff, and these niggas like that, man, they're not thinking about the days when they were broke, man.
Yeah, what they say, you must have forgot.
You know, you're right. Come on. All they think about now basically is more money, man.
Yep.
You know, I think Jay-Z said back in the day, man, he was gonna rape Def Jam until he's like the $100 billion man. And look how many dicks he had to suck, and you know what I'm saying?
Being over.
Yeah, twerking and shit for fucking Jews and shit, man.
And what's that quote you always say? T.I. said, like, we made $1 million.
Yeah, Tip always said it, man. He said once he made $1 million, he was gonna be through. And he said finally he made $1 million. He stated, now what's $1 million? It's never, the greed is never enough, man. It's actually the avenue to destruction, man.
And what the scripture say? Watching for riches, consuming the flesh. You know.
Kevin Gates.
I don't get tired.
I won't get tired.
It's Deuteronomy 32:30. It says, how should one chase 1,000 and 2 put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them and the Lord had shut them up?
And who's the rock? Yahweh Bashem our shot. The reason why we were sold, because basically our stiff-neckedness, man. You know, basically start worshiping these other idols, serving these other gods, breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. Hence Deuteronomy 28:15.
Taking pictures with minorities. Why? What's wrong with minorities? It bothers me a lot that you wanted to broadcast that you're associating with black people.
I don't see your views. I wasn't raised the way you were raised.
If you don't feel it, don't come to my games. Don't bring black people and don't come.
Do you know that you have a whole team that's black that plays for you?
Do I know? I support them and give them food and clothes and cars and houses. Who gives it to them? Does someone else give it to them? Do I know that I have? Who makes the game? Do I make the game or do they make the game? These are 30 owners that created the league.
I'm not going to bring any black people to the stadium.
Hawks owner Bruce Levinson has apologized for making what some consider offensive comments about race in an email sent 2 years ago, being seen by fans for the first time now. I want some white cheerleaders. I want the music to be music familiar to a 40-year-old white guy. He even complained the kiss cam is too black. It was sent in a message to team management about how to sell more season tickets. Levinson says he voluntarily reported the email
to selling more season tickets. It's all about that dollar bill, you know, and because he want more of his cracker kind to come see his boys play, man. Right. That's what it's all about.
Right. A nigga, you in the heart of Atlanta, man. It's nothing but Jake there, right, man.
Cool.
You got a precept?
Yeah, this for Brother Asher again. He said, this Proverbs 11:4, riches profit not in the day of wrath, for righteousness delivered from death.
And think about the movie Titanic, man. You know, when actually the guy was basically trying to pay for that boat. Yeah. And what did the captain tell him, man? He told him, he said, hey, look, man, your money's no good out here, man. You know what I'm saying? So the day of your pending judgment, once he sent that visitor, the death angel, man, the death angel's not trying to hear that shit. You know, your good is dead, man.
What was during that time frame in Weimar, if I'm not mistaken?
Weimar Republic.
Yeah. You know, they was using that money as heat, you know what I'm saying? They were burning all of it up. So they can live on with, you know, just try to protect them from getting cold. So they're burning all those basically Federal Reserve notes up.
That's right.
So once somewhere was written 4 times before I learned. So it's gonna be the same thing again today. Those Federal Reserve notes, they're gonna decline, man. Everything's gonna be on that chip, you know? That's gonna be the new money.
That's more.
Yeah, this Elder Zab, this is 2 Maccabees 4:9. Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise and for the trainer up of youth.
Yeah, that's all your gymnasiums, so-called Olympics, you know. There's no new thing on the sun, like the brother's been saying the whole time, man. You know what I'm saying? And because all these so-called sporting events, they've been since the Greco-Roman Empire, so on and so forth. Even go back into the Egyptian Empire, they still had these games, these chariot race and different things like that.
That's why they wear that type of clothing you see today. You go in different type of gyms or whatever. They have them spandex on, cause they wear gym goes back to gymnos, you know, which means naked.
That's right.
All right.
This is GMS Living Waters of Yash, Matthew 16:26. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? What shall a man give in exchange for his soul, man? You know, and look at the state Kanye West is in now, man. Or when they finally, you know what I'm saying, attain all those riches, look how broken they are in the spirit, man. They'd rather be dead. Everybody who attained that money, from like Eminem to Fabulous, both of these characters stated that life was much better when they were broke. Why? You can have any fucking thing you want right now. You know, what would drive a man to say that unless you have to visualize and understand what he's saying in the spirit, man, the shit he did to get that money.
And what you lost was your integrity, man. You know, you had to bend over. You know, so it's probably, you know, you had to worship all these different guys and do the blood oaths and all that stuff.
Sacrifice a couple
people. You did your blood sacrifice of your loved ones. So that's what you lost. I mean, that pretty much, you gained that type of money like that, but look what you had to do for it.
Right.
All right, it's the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 10. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction.
Yeah, man, Esau's kingdom is fucking polluted, man. Look at Charles Barkley ass, man.
This from Sports Illustrated said, this is where he made a quote back in 2002, if I'm not mistaken. And he says, every black kid thinks the only way he can be successful is through athletics. That is a terrible thing. As you can see right here, I mean, they know what's up, man. You know, they know they come as slaves, man.
Hey, bro, and if you look at the term polluted in the Hebrew, it's Strong's H2930, pronounced as tama'ah, and it means to be unclean, sexually. How are you unclean sexually? And Esau society sleeping with other men, man. Women sleeping with women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Religiously serving these other gods, man. Our people are serving these other gods, and then that ceremonial is basically going into basically
satanic rituals.
Yeah, those satanic rituals, and also like these public figures such as LeBron. Look what he does before pregame.
Yeah.
The powder shit. You know what I'm saying?
So they idolize him as a god.
Right. Idolatry, man.
Cause LeBron actually think he the king of the NBA, bro. Like he really think he like on the next tier down from being the damn, you know what I'm saying, the owner of the National Basketball Association, because that's how proud he is. You know, but he's defiled and polluted, man, spiritually, bro. That's why he's covered up in those tattoos, man, because he's empty and dead and void.
Right. Trying to get his masculinity back, man.
There you go.
You know.
Right, this is Hebrews 13:14. For here have we no continuous city, but we seek one to come.
Right. Esau's kingdom is not the continuous city, man. And what are we seeking for, man? The man of the Lord is actually seeking for the kingdom of heaven, man. Everlasting life, man. You know, basically chasing that incorruptible crown, man. Because basically, unlike a championship, hey, every day is going to be like a championship, okay? Because when Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant won that championship, the next day, okay, I mean, I'll take that back. Maybe those couple of days they were excited, but at the end of the day, by that week, they still felt that void.
Exactly.
And then secondly, you got to practice next year to win it again. You're not the champ. You only champion for that fucking time frame, man.
For that moment.
It's not no everlasting minute, man, for that. You know?
Right. This was a quote I found not too long ago. From Mike Tyson. Just to show how through the spirit he know, who, so he probably know this was him probably back in the day, man. And he says, I didn't know how to be any other way. I felt like one of those barbarian kings just coming to conquer the Roman Empire.
Yeah. I fucked around, the Roman Empire conquered him, man.
Exactly.
Sacrificed his child. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is a brother
converted to Islam.
Islam.
It's all over the place, man.
In Matthew 6:24, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve the Most High man. All right. So that's the reason why you have these wicked athletes. And I mean, you have some that, you know what I'm saying, that actually are the elect, because not all of them are wicked. But at the end of the day, the point I'm trying to drive home, basically, if you serve in mammon, you can't roll with Yahweh Shem Shah, man. You're going to have to give up something.
Yeah. This is the definition of barbarian: a person in a savage, primitive state, uncivilized person. This barbarian says a person in a savage, primitive state, uncivilized person.
And when you're uncivilized and when you're primitive, that means you have primitive means that you have like an animalistic mentality.
That's why the scriptures say called out people brute beasts, man. It says a person without culture. Oh,
we don't have a culture anymore.
Yeah,
our culture has been reestablished through Esau, man.
Yep. And you stroll down to objective number 7. It says foreign, alien.
Right. And we are aliens, man.
But through the spirit, how about Sean Shah? We, so we come back to their fold. But niggas like Charles Barkley and Mike Tyson, they aliens now.
And then it states too, bro. It stated uncivilized. Yep. Lacking the law, statutes, and commandments, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look at that shit, man.
And then there was another one. He was when he was holding a little Edomite lady, but that was in comparison to that ape.
Oh yeah.
So he got them, so they allowed the world to put them in its beast mode, primitive look, man.
He was on that Vogue magazine.
LeBron James.
Yeah, that's a good one.
There you go.
I look how they got the devil horns behind his fucking head.
Right. Say, man. You perfectly centered, bro.
He's supposed to be worth so many $100 million, and he's still a proverb, astonishment, you know.
That's right.
Cause at the end of the day, this nigga still an Israelite, you know what I'm saying? So he falls under the curses as well, right?
Yep, that's it. This fat ass, man. I can lose it. Yep. That's it. I'll bring it back to us. Boom.
Yeah, hey, this is just a lesson, you know, to the point. Basically, you know, athletes are nothing but modern day slaves. And Lord will, we pray that you are edified, and also once again the Water
Brothers for real, man.
Yeah, that meant a lot. And all praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai.
Double honor to the apostles, the elders, and salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.